Hello everyone and welcome back. We are going to be going into round 5 of the Birmingham VGCS.
And this is the round before top 8, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, so we played 5 rounds of Swiss. They were all best of 1, but it was team format, so technically a best of 3 per team, if you want to look at it that way. So on the left we have Abdul, who will be playing ZTB, and on the right we have Kieran, who will be... on the left we have... Wait... Did I bamboozle myself? So on the left we will have a Revelation player. On the right we will have a ZTB player.
We do apologize for name difficulties.
I think I got the names the wrong way around when I was writing it down. So it will be Abdul on the right and Kieran on the left. But I might have got that wrong. So I think I'm just going to refer to them by their clan and deck archetype names instead, just to avoid embarrassing myself any further. As always, I'm joined by Sid.
Thank you for having me again, and sadly, again, David will not be able to join us for this video.
Yes. So I think we can just get straight into this game.
Yep. Let us start.
So we have, so as I've said, we've got Revelation versus ZTB. I think I'm honestly not too clued up on this matchup. I played ZTB for a bit. I've played against Regalia. I don't really know what Revelation does. I know... Well,
stack.
Yeah.
Stack, pretty much. Top 1 stack.
So, yeah, I know what the ability itself does. I'm just saying, I don't know what the deck does as a whole. I've never really played against it, even in its prime. So
the question is this the Amaruda Revelation, or is this Wise Man with the new Revelation stuff? I think we'll see that shortly when they get to grade 3.
Actually, I honestly think that the fixture sheet I had was incorrect, because I do not recognize either of these players.
So the Revelation player wrote the new grade 1 from GBT 14, which is probably also the best Genesis Revelation grade 1 in that set. It's literally when it's rested by another Revelation unit, you get to counterblast and draw. It's a really, really good card and it's not GB1, so meaning you can just use it straight out from turn 1 if you have to counterblast for it, so it's really, really good for just drawing in that early game.
That's pretty great.
The only
Sorry, he isn't using the new starter, is he?
That's the new starter.
Is that the new starter?
That's the one when it's rested by a Revelation skill, it can stand itself back up, but it can only do it once.
Perfect.
As it's a once per turn skill.
Yeah.
But it's just a good way to stack. I would personally prefer to run the old one, just because that old one gives me the stand, gives me the draw power.
Oh, that was interesting. The ZTB player uses the stride fodder to fetch a Jet G to hand, but then ditches a cruising for the cost instead of ditching the grade 3 to get the free stride.
So here comes the Revelation. Here comes the Revelation player. Pasahimahime on the rear guard gains 1000 power every time something is soul charged. And if it's soul charged through Revelation ability, it's 2k instead of 1.
That's pretty good. So he's choosing to keep the card on top. Do you think it's a trigger?
It's most likely a trigger.
Probably. Try check heal trigger, what a surprise. Some big rear guard swings, but the Gear Crown player did heal and give power to Vanguard, so this is only a 5k block.
Yep.
Which he drops the stride for, it's fine. This is kind of the time where you separate the top players from the not top players, how they decide to deal with grade 2 aggression and how they respond. So he rides Jet G, which is interesting considering he has Jet Z in hand. So I think this player must just value Jet G over Jet Z.
But they both achieve, this gives you both time leaping abilities, and logically, I'm not seeing anything that Jet G can give you that Jet Z cannot.
Yeah,
so
I think Jet Z is superior to Jet G in every single way, and
so maybe I think this is more of a decision that has to be asked in person.
Yeah.
So he's using the Amaruda skill to stride for free by soul blasting 3 revelation units.
Oh wow, that was a really quick build-up. I've never played this deck against
it's
this
revelation.
deck, so I wouldn't know.
It's revelation, so pretty much he just soul charged through the revelation skill. So it's Genesis. They're really good at building soul.
It's really solid.
What's the ruling? I think he's asking does the GB1 triggers because he technically soul blasted the thing and then stride. So, but the thing, but when he soul blasted the card, he wasn't on GB, so the skill wouldn't. Yeah. So the skill wouldn't have triggered. So that's the question. He wants to use the grade 1. It has the skill when it's soul blasted from the soul. You get to soul charge 2 cards into soul charge 2 cards. Right. But the question is right now is can he does it because he wasn't GB when he did the soul blast.
Yeah. Okay, so the judge is explaining now that as you soul blast, basically exactly what Sid was saying. As you soul blast, you've already missed the timing for GB. You're not in GB when you pay the cost of stride, obviously, if you haven't struck before. And as such, the skill doesn't go off. Oh, wait, skill does go off.
It does? Alright. That's interesting.
Okay, so the way the judge justified that, you probably won't hear this because we're cutting off the audio because it sounds awful. But what it sounded like was there are 2 check timings, one before paying one's whilst paying the cost and one's after paying the cost. I'm unsure about how that actually works. I mean that wasn't head judge, so there's a possibility to make to sort of contest that, but I'm not entirely sure. Yeah. And I'm not gonna. To my
knowledge, that shouldn't have. To my knowledge, that would not have triggered because
this man just hit 2 heals in a row.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a long game.
Ishtar has the potential to restand both columns and make big rears, so but he's not
nothing but triggers though. So
yeah, that's still also good.
Here we go.
He can't restand, but he can power up if he chooses to.
Isn't it just non-triggers that restand?
It has to be when you drive check a non-trigger, you can soul blast free.
Yeah.
And then choose 1 unit for each face-up Ishtar in the G zone, and give it 3k. If the card you drive, if the non-trigger you drive check has the revelation ability, then you can stand. Yeah.
Right, okay.
But since that was Bob, I think.
Clem Harry, right?
Yeah.
So it was the 6k that puts cards at the bottom of the deck.
Yeah. Sorry, not Bob. But Bob is the Genesis card that a lot of Chesterfield won, but haven't got.
Okay, so he did G-Guard with Elishu, so he has 1 ZTB face up right now. I think he's going for that 4. Yeah, I mean, obviously all ZTB players are going for that 4. They're looking for that extra turn on Heritage. And we see this 1 card again.
He's not going aggro though, and Revelation do.
Sid, we see this grade 1 from Gear Chronicle again. The card that puts cards from the bind zone back to the deck to draw 1.
It's probably a one-off people are running, I think, just because you can time leap it into it.
Sure. Is this the same player? Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt. Go on, talk about Revelation.
Alright, Revelation. As I was saying, the Revelation right now has a big hand, and then the ZTB player went to Pegasus, so shouldn't have as aggro as a turn that it would have been if he went to Phoenix. So if the ZTB can be able to guard most of the attack, he should be able to be in a good place, even if Heritage, even if Gear player go into Heritage second strike. But Gear player right now can generate a lot of advantage with the Pulsar Dragon on the rear guard and Jeffrey clone behind the banger. He got a crit, so just got a critical. And also got another heal trigger, so...
I think he's completely out of heals at this point, right?
Yeah.
That's his 4th heal, but he does have the condition for securing another face of CTB and getting Heritage next turn.
Interesting. So the Revelation player do play the Wise Man, so it is an Amaruda Wise Man hybrid, which is something you don't see that much often, because usually when people play the Wise Man, they want to use it with Benria.
Definitely. I believe this is the same Gears player as the one that played Narukami.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100% on that. Just looking at the builds. But at the same time, it could just be 2 guys that have
Very similar decks.
with very similar decks. Yeah.
Because he also do run the Grade 0, the Chronodram, the old
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, that's what's making me think that it is. I might just be wrong.
Revelation still in the heal trigger helped the gear panel off quite good.
So much. Like, he's definitely going to get Heritage next turn, and it's very unlikely that Amaruda wins this turn. Once Gears goes into Heritage, it's very difficult to win.
Amaruda is going in for some control with the new stride they got from GBT 14, which it's like a Doom Brace. For each Revelation card you soul charge, your opponent chooses one of his or her rear guards and retires it. But what is scary is that it has a powerful GB3, sorry, that gives 2k, if I remember right, to all rear guards for each Revelation unit in the soul.
Oh, that's pretty big.
Yeah. And if he has the stand trigger, the Revelation stand trigger, he can restand. Actually, sorry, he can't because there's no on attack. But if he had the Wise Man in rear, he could combo it on a restand combo.
Yeah, and that'd be a very scary Wise Man turn.
Yeah. He's got the heal and the PG. He might have just saved himself from a Heritage turn.
Oh, that's a soul charge, isn't it? That's not a drive check. He's lost those.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. That was a soul check.
The thing is that even if you live through Heritage, having 2 turns just puts a minimum of 8 cards in your hand.
Technically, Revelation do have the capacity to rack a big hand, but it's just the recovery heal trigger the Gear Chronicle player got in the early game kind of screwed up. Might have just screwed over the.
The thing is, being on 3 damage with an 11 card hand is easy. Like, you don't need to worry about the game at that point. Like, it's playing DIs. My biggest fear was people just being on low damage with high hands, because it was like, sure, I gonna swing with Gassil, he takes the damage and it's a trigger, and a lot of my effects just dies, and they don't feel pressured to not take that damage because they're so low.
It seems he's getting rid of a lot of the Wise Man, so we might not be seeing any Wise Man play in this particular game.
Thank God, because that is the most degenerate loop in this game.
It probably wouldn't have done much against. It depends if the Gears still have any heals, because they can.
He has a heal in hand, so he can head around.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he also probably wants to use it on an Elishu, so he gets the ZTB face up. Because right now, if Glare isn't blinding me, he has 3 face up.
He just used another
Going
G
for
card.
the 4th. Yep, that's the 4th.
Yeah.
That's the 4th ZTB.
Now the question is, will he use Heritage? So he's using the heal trigger
There's
skill
no
to.
counter judge. There's no way he doesn't Heritage.
And if he's the same player, we know he has 2 in his deck, so he can technically go into Heritage again.
That was a... Okay, so he literally just G-guarded to get the face of ZTB. He didn't even want to guard the attack.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe he wants the counter blast.
Yeah. Oh, possibly. No, yeah. This is a very strange deck, to be honest. Like, running Jet G as your primary vanguard.
we're still-
Overjet Z.
Yeah, he went into the Heritage.
The Heritage. No surprise there. He time leaps a Dran from hand, turning it into a 1. And are you going to pay the cost, or are you just going to leave it there?
So he returns to
2 heals to the deck. Okay, so the more I'm seeing of this card, the less I feel like it's a bad idea. But I
You'll
don't
be
think it's optimal.
It's just it's mostly optimal with the I would say
interesting that he didn't resolve Dran skill there.
he seems to be relying more on the actual time leaping skill of the on stride skill than the actual anything else. That seems to be mostly generating his energy.
Okay, so he discards a Cardinal's hand to call and transit.
So he takes out the intercept.
And I think that was a Lugalure attack to the. Oh, yeah, that was a Lugalure attack to the face. He might have just intercepted.
Got draw trigger. Chrono Dran.
Skill of Lugalure. Rocks. Because he drive checked to grade 3. This man runs a lot of grade 3s.
It's also fun.
Least.
It's also interesting to seeing cards people are no longer running that much anymore actually working so well in this one.
Yeah, like this definitely starts doing work for him right now. They check draw trigger. I am concerned for the size of his deck.
He has the grade 1 that's shuffling things back into the deck. I think he should be fine.
From Bind Zone though, and he only has a few cards in there right now.
Yeah. Do you know that Revelation is also a deck that doesn't recover too much unless they have the Dreaming Dragon, so...
Yeah, but Dreaming Dragon's very easy to come by, whereas Gear Chronicle literally have nothing.
But since he's not playing Fenrir, meaning he can't call the Dreaming Dragon from the soul as easily as a Fenrir build, so... If he's forced to use it, then he might have... His deck does look pretty strong.
My guy just checked top 2 for Cruising Dragon instead of top 3. That's a judge. Anyway,
alright.
End of turn, he goes into Heritage Resolves. Maybe he is a very smart player.
Why?
Because the Dran comes back so he can use it again.
Yep.
Oh.
But Dran only binds it if he has...
So now he binds the... Okay, so he uses Dran Z's skill. Check top 5, and he decides, he whiffs. I'm saying this deck is still mighty thin. This is the problem. This is one of the problems Gear Chronicle has. Is that it's playing such a long game, and with so many drive checks that it will end up just not having a deck.
We really count as a long game since this is only really his second try.
Yeah. But I just mean, like, he's been playing, he's effectively, like, he's still had more turns than most people would. And you drive check so often in this deck.
I guess technically it's his third stride because he strode again. Technically.
True. I mean, okay. The Revelation player has done quite a lot to be not dead right now. He's on 4 damage.
If he
has a sizable hand, you can actually live through this and retaliate next turn.
If he can pull an Ishtar turn, can be potentially really scary and make a really good combat with the Ishtar.
Yeah.
Either that or he can try Ultima, but I'd probably go for the Ishtar.
Ultima is a very risky card.
And tend to not have too much synergy with Genesis, actually.
Ultima really doesn't have much synergy with a lot of United Sanctuary clans. Except for, like, Angel Feather.
And Shadow Paladins.
And Shadow Paladin. I mean, Shadow Paladin only because the Lord gets the free ultimate stride. But I'd say, like, the fact that, like, the Paladins want to call and do multi-attacks.
It's like when I'm playing my Regalia, when I'm playing it, I will always tend to want to use my counterblast more for resources than wasting it on that Arton, which I know going into Manava pretty much does around the same thing and does it better.
you restand your entire board. But
Yeah.
this, you have 5 drive checks in that turn instead of just 3.
Yeah. So I don't get drive criticals to my rear guard. That doesn't matter too much.
Yeah.
My vanguard's hitting for God knows what numbers, so more than make up for it.
So it's the Regalia.
The Regalia G Guard, so he can soul charge up to 4 cards of different grade. If he soul charges 2 cards, he gains 5k. If he soul charges 4 cards, he gains another additional 10k. So it's a 15k guard to the shield.
Yeah. So he's got 41 to 26, which is a 3 to pass. And he calls that.
He may just actually survive this heritage turn.
Yeah.
And still left with Rubik hand in hand.
So the Pegasus is 16 and it will restand again.
Yeah. He doesn't actually. He doesn't know.
He uses the Pegasus skill to check top. 4, 5.
I think it's fine, right?
Pegasus checks 5, not 6. Please don't check 6 cards.
You look at.
Big win. He has very few cards in deck.
Is that like 2 cards left in deck?
Yeah. Well, after checking top 5, so he has. He'll have 6 cards in deck. The rest go to bottom. You see, I'd probably attacked with the Pegasus first, just to look at the top and see the chances of getting triggers and stuff. I guess if you check that top 5 and it is all triggers, send them all to the bottom, you're very sad.
The revelation,
the likelihood of that happening is pretty low.
The good thing is right now the revelation don't need to worry about having no cards to strike because Amaruda has the free strike skill.
Yeah.
So he can freely guard with everything from hand without worrying. But the question is,
he only needs a 10k shield here. This is just a 16k attack.
Question is, can he break? Looks like, can he break? He survived. Can he break through that really gigantic hand of the Gear Chronicle?
So he survived the heritage turn, which is very good. The only problem is that he only has 6 cards in deck. The Gear Chronicle player, that is.
Yeah.
So we're going for the big boy Ishtar players here. So yeah, I'm not sure on the card size of the Gear Chronicle player's hand, but it's pretty huge. With 6 cards in deck, he actually cannot afford to take a damage.
He didn't try checking any he didn't start charging any triggers, so that might be good or bad depending on the situation in this case, because he more probably want to be dry checking the revelation units than triggers at this point.
Yeah, definitely. You want to get the multi-attacks off and you want to make your big columns, you don't want to just...
Unless he actually runs more than triggers.
Yeah, it's a possibility, but it's still...
Yeah.
I feel it's still scary to just like get him off non-triggers.
He can only make 1 rear guard, so might not be able to win this turn.
Yeah.
He needed to make the column. He needed to make the columns. Question is, can Gear Chronicle player make a good enough comeback next turn? Gear Chronicle, I feel, will probably have to win next turn, or else they will deck out.
Yeah, definitely. He has 6 cards in deck, so if he takes 1 damage here, he goes down to 5, and then his draw plus drive checks take him down to 1 card in deck without using any effects.
He chooses to hetero around Dreaming Dragon. He doesn't want his opponent to build back the deck. He wants to. He wants to do the whole. I want you to deck out with me.
It's a bold play considering he's gonna deck out first.
And there's a high chance he might
just draw into the Dreaming Dragon again.
No, it's the
he actually fights a unit with which he could attack off of the hetero round.
Yeah.
And he gets a revelation off of it, which is pretty big.
He can revelation player can technically stack power to that PG and make it to at least hit for around 12 if he stacks it 2 times.
Yeah.
So there's still a good chance revelation can steal. I think I may have seen a misplay there.
Did he not resolve the effect of the checker
The
revelation unit?
Yeah, the first one, he didn't actually done it, so that might have been the misplay.
He swings 11 to rear guard, which is highly questionable. I'd have just gone face. What?
He doesn't want to give the opponent a counter blast.
But gear next exists.
He can't go gear next though, because if he does, he'll deck out.
No, you won't.
Oh yeah, gear
Check
next.
3, you return 3. And then you
Oh
check.
yeah. Revelation players only on 3 cards in deck, so
The Revelation player cannot take any damage here.
he's gonna deck out.
Yeah,
So, rounding that Dreaming Dragon was smart, right, in the end.
it worked out. Whilst I do disagree with it, it worked, so it's not bad. But yeah, this gear next will probably just close it out. Plus, time's just been called on the round as well, so these players need to win in the next couple of turns, which is likely going to happen.
I think the Amaruda played it well, even surviving a Heritage turn isn't an easy thing.
Yeah. No, definitely. Heritage is a horrible, scary card.
Looks like we might just be going all in now.
You've no reason not to.
So Revelation has 5 cards in hand. We know he has two of them. It's 10k. One of them is a grade 3. So
He can't guard the 5 cards.
he has a minimum of at least right now 15, 25k. That I can see it at the moment. It comes down to what his other 2 cards is, but I don't think he can guard.
Yeah. Gainax. He opens the Gainax when he thinks he appreciates it.
He's got the heal trigger again.
Another one. He's been sending them back from the bind zone.
Yeah.
Gives 5k to the unit. Second trick. It's
Another heal trigger.
Don't be a heal. Oh my
Oh,
god.
triple hamster heal trigger!
What is this man? It's like,
And that's that game? Oh no, is that
right, so now you would
return 3?
heals to the bottom of your deck. And then attack with gear next again. I believe gear next will only have 1 drive check, though.
What does he think? I think he's overthink.
It's not GB4, so
Alright.
he doesn't get the 10k plus 1 drive on the second swing.
He's thinking what to return.
Yeah.
I agree with you, we'll probably just return the 3 heal triggers.
To be honest, what you return is pointless, because he just needs to win here.
That Mina, that girl's name's Mina, right?
Which one, sorry?
The Gear Chronicle one.
The grade 1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mino is hitting pretty big. Surprisingly, he's choosing to return the rear guards.
He returns the sheep. For what reason, I have no idea, because the sheep could actually...
Make 15.
Okay, no, okay, he's keeping the sheep.
Yeah.
He knows that he needs it.
I don't know what you should.
I would honestly just return the heals.
Yeah.
So he returns 2 heals and a jet G.
Yeah.
Putting the heals on the bottom, interestingly enough.
I think he's probably just not really caring at this point.
Yeah, it's fair. I wouldn't give you a card at this point. I would just... Why would you do this?
Is it a mandatory draw?
It's not a mandatory skill because you have to pay the cost to do it.
I mean the draw
Oh,
itself.
no, because choose up to 1. Oh, so he's stacked. He's stacked his deck. I guess, yeah, that makes sense. He has 6 cards in deck, so he puts 3 back and then stacks the bottom 3.
Yeah.
So, Gear X here has 1 drive check. So he's going to check 1 heal. It won't go off. He will get the plus 5k from it. So, Amaruda here needs to guard for 36, which isn't difficult to achieve. Yeah, especially after he's just G-guarded with the FC G-guard.
Yeah, he just saved himself the deck out.
Yeah, that's really important.
he has some really, really good moves from both sides at the moment. Some questionable moves as well.
Some unorthodox moves, some moves I wouldn't take personally, but moves nonetheless. And they've not been bad.
Interesting. We know it's probably gonna. We know there's a double heel trigger coming, so he knows.
Yeah.
So he shouldn't. He didn't need to go for no plus.
Wait, the Gears player just announced that his Vanguard is 36, and he's doing 2 drive checks.
He gives everything to the Pulsar Dragon.
It's.
Oh yeah, the sheep. Yeah.
Okay, this is. I'm just gonna derail here, guys. Read your cards. Gear next is GB4 on his thing, I believe.
It is a GB4, yeah.
Gear next. So Gear next is GB4. During this unit's second battle, it gets plus 10k plus 1 drive. If you go into Heritage after flipping up 4 ZTBs, you are on GB1 again. You pay the cost for Gear next, and you are on GB 3. Yes. Which means that double drive check shouldn't have happened. Whether that changed the result of the game or not is highly unlikely. He had 2 10Ks.
Wow.
Actually, he had 2 10Ks in hand.
If he had done
against 38k Pegasus that would then restand.
The sheet and the poster would have restand at 16, so you would just need a 10k to guard the restanding.
No, the Pegasus was like buffed by 20k. It was
Poster Dragon.
It was a 31k Pegasus on the left that hadn't attacked yet. So
it was a poster. Yeah. All right.
So it didn't really change the effect of the outcome of the game. So it's not a big problem. But it's one of those that it's a shame, honestly, that the player on the right. I'm not gonna call anyone out. I'm gonna assume that it's an honest mistake from the Gear Chronicle player, because second stride Gear next is kind of like the go-to thing. So it doesn't really click that it's a GB4.
Yeah.
But it's a shame to see something like that.
It could also be just be instinct muscle memory in the end of the day.
Exactly, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's not. I'm not trying to put blame on him at all.
Yeah.
Because it's a play I myself would probably make. But the difference is if you're at a tournament, you do need to know the rules.
Yeah. And this is like a semi-high.
The VGCS is a competitive. It's supposed to be competitive, and it's played at to a national standard. So I would say that this is definitely the time where you should have been checking up on your rules and things like that.
This wasn't
especially a card like Gear Next, which is always going to be run.
But this wasn't the top table, wasn't it?
No, this was a bottom table. Both teams were on 1 win. So.
All right.
And also, it's teams. So even if we see a win here, it doesn't necessarily translate to a win for the team.
Yep. Just need to make that clear to everyone.
I think we said this on like 3rd game or something. We finally caught up.
Yeah.
But okay, so to not end on a sour note, that was the end of Swiss. So at the end of Swiss, we had 4 X1s and then 8 X2s, I believe. 4 X2s got floated up to top 8. The other 4 sadly fell down. As is the way with top 8 cut when you have a non-clear number split. Do you want to give
a little description to how your team did, as we're probably not going to see your team turn to the final?
So you won't see us until round 7. Yeah, round 7, because we play in the semis, we play in the semis and in the finals, and I'm on both games there. Yeah. I hope to commentate those because I can give some insight into how I play.
Yeah.
But it was honestly like so our Swiss went like this. First game we won 2-1. David lost to Deleters, which was a very, very awkward matchup. He had to G assist as well, which really hurts against Deleters. and then Saiga won against ZTB, and I won against Brave. And it was actually against Ctrl Alt Delete, who I think were on this table at another point in this set. In this sort of 5-round, we've sat down and we've recorded all 5 games all in a row. So in this 5-round block, we've probably done one of their games.
So which out of the 5 rounds you did, which one would you say is probably your hardest matchup of the day?
Out of the 5 rounds of Swiss, my hardest matchup was probably Victor. I say that I mean, I played Victor 3 times in top 5, I believe, or 2 times. It was definitely the most played matchup because I basically played Victor round 3. I played Victor round 2, 3, and then in finals. So and it was the same deck that I played in round 3. So it was that was the deck I faced the most.
So you probably got used to Victor by then.
Oh, yes. Victor's a very tough matchup because it's the DI deck is explosive, it has good tempo, it keeps things going, but Victor can kind of catch them off guard in that one time where they kind of have a little chink in their armor, and they can really exploit that. And if you don't get lucky off of your checks, then you are screwed in that matchup. But I mean, I did okay against it, so it was fine. So in Swiss, I'd say definitely Victor was a matchup that pushed me the hardest. Brave was round 1 I played against Brave. Round 2 I played against Victor, but this Victor player I was able to keep him on 1 counterblast, which meant that he couldn't do anything on his first stride, and I was able to just go off after that. Round 3 I played against another Victor who pushed me to 5 damage before my first stride, but I was able to retaliate pretty well.
This was Mohammed's team, wasn't it?
Yeah, this was Mo's team. So
for those who don't know, Mo was the winning champion of last year's Germany, if I remember right.
Yeah.
With O2T giving a shout out, who I would probably have no curious as to say it's probably the best OTT player in the UK.
Yeah, and I think that was also exemplified by the fact that he won taking Oracle Think Tank.
And not
Battle Sisters.
With Susano, which people was actually put a quote for him saying that people was actually laughing at him for actually trying to win with Susano, but he proved everyone wrong and won with
Susano, which was unthinkable, to be honest.
And it's also a deck that he actually was doing really well with, and topping, I would add, before Stillwater was even a thing. So back when OTT was just, on hit with Dragon Slayer's OG Susanos, right?
Yeah. Mo was a ridiculously good player. So we played against Mo's team round 3, which we won 2-1. So Saga lost his game. David won his game against Mo. Mo was playing a Regalia build that I think he calls Elise Wall, which is fair because that's basically what it does. It uses the Quintet Wall to gain a bunch of power to the Vanguard and makes multi-attacks basically pointless. But Heritage is still too strong a card.
Yeah.
And I played against Victor.
Yeah. Which was against their teammate Nick, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Round 4 was our first team loss, and our only team loss for the day, may I add. I bricked. I completely bricked. I teched the top 5. I had my hand, and I missed grade 1.
Against Messiah, of all things.
Against Messiah. The one matchup that I am 90-10 in. I've tested against David. David's Messiah
so many times.
So often, and I have only lost probably 1 game out of a total of about 12 or 15.
Yeah.
I was so upset at myself for losing that.
At
the same time,
he
damaged both of my God Bishops. And when the God Bishop leaves the deck forsakes you.
Again, to clarify, I made the DGVG guy, David. If you have seen any of his past videos, you'll know that he is first and mostly a Messiah player at heart. So, and being a teammate, meaning we literally tested against the Messiah matchup.
Millions of times.
Yeah, it's literally.
So David would have taken Messiahs to the VGCS, but he decided against it and took ZTB instead.
He
which...
was also missing one of the GRs, if I remember right.
Yes, he didn't have his second integral, which meant that playing Messiahs would have been awful.
Yeah. Which
but...
I still think he could have still got away with one integral. He did really well in one of the shop.
He did win a shop tournament with Messiahs, right?
No, but he did make it to the final.
Oh yeah, he kept second. He lost to you, of course.
He did with the regalia.
But yeah, and then round 5, I played against Dominate, which is a matchup I've been playing for a month against Saiga, our third. And it's honestly a matchup the DIs win every time just because of the amount of tempo we can generate. And sure, you can crit me with my dominated unit, but when my deck is all triggers, I'm going to be on a 21k base, and then you can do nothing. And also, one of my favorite players, just for any DI players out there, put Deranged Singular to your soul, draw your 2 cards, and then add him back to your hand, because next turn they're going to force you to call a card from your hand. If it's Deranged Singular, they are then incentivized to get rid of that, because next turn you will draw 2 cards if they don't. Bad Nubatama players will not get rid of your starter, and you will get to draw another 2 cards next turn, which is very good. I did that on round 5, and he was like, okay, call your 3 cards from hand, and I was like, fine, I'll call Monochrome of Nightmare Land, I'll call another Monochrome of Nightmare Land, and I'll call a Deranged Singular. So none of these are hitting me for good numbers. They're all hitting me for 19 or 20, so I can guard them for 10k. Next turn, sorry?
Are these strategies you learned from Heshford?
I actually came up with this one myself. I'm pretty sure Hesford would tell me it. Oh, Hesford knows it already. I was literally just sitting there, just I need to call 3 cards from my hand, and I have 2 stands and a starter, and so I'm just gonna slap him down.
Yeah. For our viewers, Heshford is literally, I would describe as Naeem's here's DI master. He is the apprentice to our Heshford.
I am the Anakin to his Palpatine. So call your Deranged Singular out, and then I called all those 3 cards, and next turn they all went back to my deck, and all just perfectly set me up for the win.
Yeah.
It was Dominate. Although I do have to say the Dominate I played in semi-finals was terrifying, and I was very, very, very close to losing.
I think that's literally. I think that's a lot of cases with the new Domination.
Yeah,
it's just
they're a really scary, really fast deck. And
when I was placing in Preston, it was literally overthinking. I have to overcommit. I can't hold back any of the unit because I'm just gonna lose advantage very quickly. You just have to win 5 seconds try, or they kill you with the Rene because it's just
definitely
so hard to guard.
But yeah, that was our VGCS. So we went 4-1. So we made it into top 8 as 4th seed, which put us in a really good position to then take the rest of the tournament.
Yeah.
I'm sure if any of you guys follow myself or David or Saga on social media, so I've tweeted it out my results, which is why I'm fine just talking about it in the videos.
And I believe you also wrote out in a blog.
Yeah, so I also wrote a really long tweet longer because it's an hour and a half from Birmingham to Manchester, and
if you guys want to read, we'll probably put it into the description. We'll probably have a link in the description.
Yeah.
So
I'll get David to link my Twitter as well.
Yeah.
Just get a little boosted followers, hopefully. But yeah, I'll talk about semi-finals and finals more, hopefully, because I'd like to get the opportunity to commentate on those finals, just because I want to give some insight into how I was thinking during those games. But for now, that's the end of the Swiss bracket.
Yeah.
And big thanks to Sid for doing this with me and recording this.
And we should probably end it here now.
Yeah.
So, thank you for listening. This is DGVG Vanguard, and good day and good night.